So to start off, as per usual, I'm going to use the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot to prime my lid. And today I'm not going to set that down, I'm just going to let it stay a little bit tacky. So to start off, I used the shade Lemonade right here, and this is the Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. So I just picked it up on there and put it into the transition area and blended it up towards the brow bone. Then I used the Violet E03 brush and picked up the shade Flamingos. And put that on the outer and the inner portion and left the center of my lid bare. But I did connect them through the crease, so I just kind of blended upwards. To help even out the transition between the two shades, I used the Luxie blending brush, the 237, and used the shade Popsicle right here. And then just blended where those two shadows meet, just so it's a little bit more of a gradient. Then I just picked up that original brush we used. I didn't pick up any additional product, but I just blended the edge of where that yellow and the orange shade now meet. Then I just used my finger to pick up the shade Island and just packed that onto the center of my lid. I used the Violet brush again with the leftover Flamingos shade, just to blend out the edges and along the top of that crease. And that was it for upper lids. I'm going to finish the rest of my face and then I'll pop back in and we'll finish up the eyes with the lower lash line, some mascara, eyeliner, all that good stuff. So I'll be right back. That was a little bit of an exercise in trial and error. However, I'm going to show you the mistakes that I made. I'm going to show you what just didn't quite work out, how I fixed it, and we'll go from there. Nothing major, don't get too excited. Okay, so first of all, lower lash shadow. I kept it safe, just used the same shades that I used above. So I used a flat shader brush, this one's from Lottie London, and picked up Flamingos again. And just drag that under the entire lash line. I go basically like 100% by feel, because if I look down into the mirror while I do this, I stab myself in the eye every time. Then I used the same brush that I used earlier to put Flamingos on, but did not use it for Flamingos. I used it for that orange Popsicle shade again. And I didn't mind that it had a little bit of that Flamingos shade because it just helps with the blending, or at least that's what I tell myself. And then just applied that a little bit lower than the Flamingo shade. The only color that I didn't use under my eyes was yellow, just because I didn't. There's really no rhyme or reason, but let's keep it simple and avoid an extra step. Okay, so error number one, I went in with the Milk Jumbo Eye Pencil from NYX. Normally this works on me. Hold, you'll see. So there is with just milk on my waterline. Normally this works, but I'm like 4 shades darker than I normally am. Not even really exaggerating. I'm at least like a solid 2 shades darker. The foundation that I'm wearing is normally the one that I mix into foundations that tend to be too light. Got a lot of sun while I was away on holidays, so I did wear sunscreen. It's just I lived outside for basically a week straight, and there's only so much that sunscreen can do when you're in a lake, basically, and also sweating your butt off for 5 days straight. So I'm tanned. So I found that this was just a little bit too harsh against my new skin tone. So I used the Rimmel eye pencil in Nude and just went over top of it just to sort of tone it down a little bit to make it look a little bit more natural. So there you have it. It still has that nice brightening effect that I wanted, but not quite so much of a stark contrast. So going forward, while I am this tanned, I will just use this one. I'll crack out Milk again when the tan fades. Mistake the second. I used a pink mascara from Sephora. It's in the shade Violet On, but it's pink, so whoever named this shade is wrong, in my opinion. But I used this. I'm going to apply it just so that everything looks even. Okay, I'll explain. So I only applied this to the lower lash line, and kudos to Sephora, you don't know how to name colors. However, the pink does show up on the lashes, so there's that. This actually works. However, because I have pink shadow and now pink mascara, it just basically looks like I have no lower lashes. Oops. So what I did to rectify the situation was use the Buxom Big Tease mascara in Tropical Teal. I was expecting True Teal. In Tropical Teal, and just applied it on top of it just so that the lashes stood out a little bit. And there you go, no harm, no foul. For upper lashes, I used the Maybelline Lash Sensational. I didn't bother putting any eyeliner on the upper lash line, upper lid. I didn't use any other eyeliner because lazy, first of all. Also, to me, summer makeup is just light, breezy, airy, and not all about necessarily the super dark wing. And I think these shadow colors, like this color combination, works quite well without any additional liner. You want to wear a liner? That's totally cool. This would look really nice with like a navy blue liner or a purple liner. You can get away with black, whatever you want. And it's going to look nice either way. And there are the eyes done. I like it. That sounded super convincing. No, I do. I really do like it. It's simple, yet colorful, yet still wearable. I would totally wear this out without a hesitation. This would not make me feel self-conscious at all. I like the brightness that the shimmer shadow on the center of the lid brings to it. And yeah, it's summery and it's summer, so apropos. But now we have to do lips. So I'm going to bump you out just a little bit. Always the wrong way, always. Here we go. So, honestly, with this kind of eye look, you could go bold, you could go nude. What do I want to do? There we have it. When you can't decide between two colors, just ombre that shit. Problem solved. All right, on to look number 2. Let's do this. I'm a strong believer in giving credit where credit is due, and this eye look was done following the tutorial by Raw Beauty Christie in her recent How to Do a Halo Eye Cut Crease video. I'm going to link her video down below. Please go and check it out. If you're not following her, you need to be, because she's phenomenal. Hilarious, honest, open, relatable, and hugely talented. Definitely go check her out. And like I said, this is her brainchild. I just followed it using different colors. But you're watching this video, so I'm going to show you what I learned from her. First up, I'm taking the soft dome brush from Makeup Geek and picking up the shade Beach Ball, which is this one right here. and throwing that into the crease. It's not an issue if it falls down onto your lids, and blending it up a little bit. So here we go. The joy of this method is that you can be messy and it's really not a big deal. Also, I haven't done any of my face products yet either, so if anything falls down, not a huge issue. If it blends out too far, I can clean it up with a wipe. Easy peasy. Next, I'm going to go in with the E36 brush from Sigma. It's just a really small, precise blending brush. And I'm going to pick up the shade Sunnies, which is this black shade here. And then I just put that onto the outer portion of my lid, the inner portion, and kind of blended it up and around above where my natural crease is. Which you can see there, if I leave my eyes like that, you can see the line there. Then I just switched back to the original brush and just blended out where those two shadows meet. And then it's time to cut the crease. To do that, I used concealer. This is the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye. Obviously it's just a sample, but I like this one because it doesn't bunch up and it does have very good coverage. To apply it, I'm using the 220 brush from Makeup Forever. It's just a really thin, flat shader brush. Now in her video, Christy doesn't do this method, but because I have the slightly hooded eyes, I like to put this concealer right above the lash line and then look up so that I know where the natural transfer point is. And try not to get it all over my lashes because then it just transfers on the lash. So in there you can see where it naturally goes to. So while you can do it just looking straight ahead and sort of guessing, I like doing this because when I guess I tend to underestimate it, and then I put the concealer and I open my eyes and it's like half an inch above, so this is the way I like to do it. So then I just clean out that line a bit. And then just draw it down and fill it in. And just use my fingers, sort of patting it towards the center rather than blending it out, just to soften up those edges. And I just pick up a tiny amount of that Sunnies, the black shadow again, on the E36, and just start working on a little bit of a gradient here, so patting it on the very outer edge and on the very inner portion here. And I'm using this pointed blender brush from Ruby. There's no name to it, so I'm not sure what it is. But this is what it looks like here, just additional precision. Pick up a little bit more of that beach ball shade, the original shade. And then again, pat along the edges there just so that there's a little bit of a gradient of color. For the center of my lid, I'm going to use this nice shimmery turquoise here called Tidal Wave. You can put it on with a brush, but I'm just going to use my finger. And just pat it where the remaining concealer is. And then again, blend those edges with that more precise blending brush. I'm going to finish up the rest of my face, put on some mascara, and with this look I'll probably put on some lashes as well, and then I will pop back in and show you the final look. Be right back. And here is the final eye look with lashes and all that good stuff added on. And there is the full face. For lips, I used the Bite Beauty lip pencil in shade 20 and then added the French Press lip gloss and then added the French Press lip gloss in Salted Caramel on top. And that brings us to look number 3. For this last look, I have already primed my eyelid with the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. I didn't set it so that it remains as tacky as possible. To start off, I used this shade here called Ocean Front, and I picked it up on the Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush, and just put that into the crease and up towards the brow bone. Once that was blended out, I used the shade Lemonade and picked it up on the Real Techniques Detailer brush and applied that to the very inner portion of my eyelid and brought it to about halfway-ish. Not an exact science. Then I grabbed this shade here called Popsicle on the 202 brush from e.l.f. And so I put that into the center area and kind of dragged it over to about, I don't know, a third of the way from the end, if that makes sense. And overlapped it with the edge of that yellow. Then I went in with Watermelon on this brush here from ColourPop. It doesn't have a name on it, but it's kind of like the 202, but bigger. I don't know what it's called. And then put that on the outer portion and again overlapped it with the edge of the orange. Then I took a clean blending brush. This is the Luxie 229 tapered blending brush and just blended basically everywhere, particularly in the crease. Then I took another blending brush from Luxie. This is the 231, just called a blending brush. And I dipped very lightly into this shade Beach Ball and over here again into Ocean Front. Not picking up a ton of product, but just enough to help deepen up the crease a little bit. And put it into the crease. And then blended that further with the original crease brush that I used. For my lower lash line, I used the shade Bikini, which is this shimmery light purple up here. And I picked it up on a Volair brush. This is the E09, just a really fine, soft pencil brush. For my inner corner, I used this shimmery yellow shade called Pineapple and picked it up on the e.l.f. crease brush. Then the fun begins with the eyeliner. For the eyeliner, I did an ombre purple wing using two of the Hydro liners from Suva Beauty. So I have Space Panda, which is the white, and then Aztec, which is the matte purple. So to activate these, because they do come just dry in the pan, this one's still a bit tacky from doing this eye, but you just use water. And that's all she wrote. And I used initially the 610 brush from Suva Beauty as well, and it's just a super fine liner brush. I just picked up some of that white and put it on the inner portion of my lash line. Then I just used a really flat, small brush, the back of the lid of one of these, picked up the white first just because it's easier to clean off, and wiped some of that white onto the lid. You really don't need a lot of these products like this. These liners are going to basically last forever. Then, just with a alarmingly dirty makeup wipe. Just cleaned off that brush just so that I'm not adding white into this container, the purple container, but grabbed some of the purple off that, but not as much as what I grabbed of the white, and just mixed them together to make a very light lilac shade, and just went back over some of the white. And then added a little bit more purple just to deepen it up again. And then again, just layered it slightly over where that first lilac shade is and lined the lids. It's pretty self-evident, really. And then did it one more time. For the actual wing portion, I used my EO6 winged liner brush from Sigma. It's just a super, super skinny, precise liner brush, and went into the actual purple. Alright. For my lower waterline, I'm using Riot from Urban Decay. It's just a purple liner. Because I just spent so much time doing my liner, I really don't want to cover it all up with false lashes. So I'm just going to use the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes Mascara just to build up some volume and get good separation. And there is the final eye look. There's the wing. And there we have it. That wraps up the 3 looks using the Flamingo palette from Violet Voss. I have to say I really enjoy working with these shadows. They all blend really nicely. The shimmers are nice and reflective. There really isn't a dud in the bunch, so I'm quite happy with this palette, and I look forward to getting more use out of it during the summer. Yeah, that is it. So, thank you for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.